got a problem with that Jesus geezer. Everyone loves Jesus. Your people up on crosses right now for some Jesus. But Yahweh Shai is who that's the name people don't want to hear about. Because what comes with Yahweh Shai is what's the topic? Well, I'm going to switch. That's what I said. That's why it's not like there will be a like full detail. Which is going to be stuck in there until we have to close. But what is it? Yeah, the name is significant, man. Because what name you come in, that changes everything. That's why do you think Joab didn't want to take the city in his name? Or he didn't want to take the city and say it had been taken in his name. He needed David to come and take the city in his name. Because there's significance to that.
Second Peter's chapter 2, verse 4. For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell.
Yeah. Now Christian will just start talking about, how Lucifer discovered the mirror. And then that was the beginning of his downfall. He played the bangingest tunes on the harp. Lucifer was killing the game on the harp. Killing it so hard that God was like, no, we can't be having man playing tunes that bad. Go get your ass out of here, nigga. Go out, get your ass to hell. Give me a fucking break, man. Now it's talking about, we'll read it again, though.
For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned,
but the angels are what? Messengers. And the thing is the angels can't sin. When the fuck's his name? When Satan goes and makes some Catholic priest pop a 7-year-old boy in his anus, he's following orders. He's doing exactly what he's meant to do. That's his job. So that's not him sinning. So who are these angels that sin? Well, these messengers that sin are those you see before you, basically the Israelites. Those are the nation the Lord set up, the group of spirits that he basically set up to be his messengers on the earth, man. We're here to lead, to represent him on this planet. So we're the ones that sin that said, we're cast down to hell. So what we're cast down to is this statement, this guy needs to fuck off one day, every fucking week. But, what do you call it? The hell is this flesh, man. We've gone from them angelic, legendary bodies that we're crafting universes with, and now we're just here, if you don't eat breakfast, after a while you're just gonna start, you don't brush your teeth in the morning, your breath's gonna be smell like nuclear waste, man. You try and hold in the shit for too long, you could die. It fucking poisons the rest of your body, and then you just die. What the fuck, man? That's some lame flesh.
This is Romans 8 and 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed in us.
The sufferings of the present time. What we have to do with now? Having wickedness eating away at your mind at every moment, man. Man, the king, you ain't gonna have to be worried about, shit, you're just gonna be doing shit, man. And it's gonna be good. It's like it says in the scriptures, man. It said when the angel did some work, it said, and they saw it was good. That's what it's gonna be like in the kingdom, man. You can be like, you know what? I wanna reformat the garden. Then you're gonna bang, pow, and you saw it and it was good.
Have more?
I'll go.
For the earnest expectation of the creature, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope.
Basically, what we're waiting for now, as we suffer in these fleshly sacks, is basically when we're going to get built up into those extraterrestrial bodies, man, them super duper bodies, when we don't have to worry about it.
And it says, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption.
This is once again, I don't want to get into that subject. I'm trying to lead talk about the second topic I want to get to. I don't think it's going to happen. Go on.
Hebrews 11 and 26, esteeming the reproach of Yahweh Shai greater riches than the treasures in Egypt.
Yeah, so basically, you're not to the riches of this of what's gonna be for us through Yahweh Shai is not to be compared to the riches of this world. And this is an account of Moses of how he felt about the riches of Egypt and the riches of that which Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai gave to him. So read that again.
Esteeming the reproach of Yahweh Shai greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had
so basically he was made to forsake having that high title and label of being the son of Pharaoh's daughter and reproached by the Lord. Go on.
Says greater riches than
greater riches to do that
than the treasures in Egypt.
To remain rich in Egypt. Go ahead.
For he had respect unto the recompense of the reward.
So he had respect to the reward through his faith. Right? The evidence of things not seen but the things hoped for. Right?
By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible.
He endured and forsook Egypt. Alright? So it was nothing to be compared. And he feared the Heavenly Father, which is invisible, showing you it takes faith. A lot of these people would like to base their wealth and riches on something physical, but he based it on something spiritual. The spiritual is far greater riches than that which is carnal or physical. Go ahead.
In 2 Peter chapter 2 and 4, for if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment.
What do you want? Yeah, they got delivered on day, talking in third person. We got delivered down here. It
says, to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah. And he says, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness. 2 Peter 2 and 4, for if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment.
Yeah, that's we're basically waiting for that time when the judgment comes and the books get open, and basically everyone who's out there gets what for. There's the thing where it's what we're this is what why you require to be a visionary, to see that there is more than just what you got there. Because the thing is with the scriptures, these are things that just by their very nature hard to be for the natural man it's hard to be understood. If you're basically just tangled up in the carnal. You know, basically widening your your viewpoint and see, okay, maybe something a bit more is going on there. Because the thing is there's you start to put things together and everything don't make too much sense out of it. You think like, even with Jake, you just look at Jake, you think, wow, these are some of the smartest, most talented, capable guys on the planet Earth. But they're just a bunch of low-life degenerates, man. What the fuck's going on here? And then you think about it, the thing that you have to think about then is Jake weren't always low-life degenerates, man. At one point, we were kings, scholars, knights, men of high honor.
Dignitary.
So then you have to wonder, how did you even get taken down by the true low-life? That's where spiritual aspects start to come in. You have to realize not everything just comes down to the flesh. Because if that was so, then slavery wouldn't have happened. You got something?
Yeah, real quick. Philippians 3:20. For our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahushua, HaMashiach, who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able to even subdue all things unto himself.
Yeah, well, that goes back to the wisdom of Solomon that I was reading earlier about how we seem to die, but we'll be rewarded. It also says we're going to be like sparks running to and fro, but we're going to be able to do that through those spiritual bodies. Because right now, we're in corruptible bodies, which, like the brother just read, is the chains of darkness, which receives judgment, because in this life you feel pain, You got guys talking about you're going to go to hell and all this shit. Well, hell is a place of low estate, or for instance, the grave, digging the ground, right? But ain't no such place. It's just a fable to say someone's going to go to a place where they're going to feel pain. Here is where you feel pain. Alright? And that's why we're here right now, and the majority of our people are going to be reserved to judgment. But as for the others, which serve the Lord in righteousness, the Lord's going to plead our name to the Heavenly Father and the angels, and we're going to be changed. We're going to be changed and have them spiritual bodies.
Precept.
This is Psalms chapter 82 and verse 6. I have said ye are gods, and
Still not done, yeah.
2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 5, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness.
These are things that really go ahead and thinking about Noah, his sons, and the earth getting flooded. These are the kind of things, these are the kind of things, these are holy conversations that the men of the Lord meditating within. The thing is, you realize, like, hey, before the flood, there was civilization, myriad civilization. Just like after the flood, there was multiple nations, multiple kingdoms, different rulers. Before the flood was the same. Because it says, there's no new thing under the sun, man. That which has been, that which has been already. So everything's going through in cycles once again. So just like wicked civilizations built up before the flood, that's what we got going on now. And just they weren't spared before the flood, it's not going to be spared now. But then there's lessons to take from those happenings. That's why they're rooted.
Says, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
Yeah. That's what the Lord's looking to do again. It's going to be a flood of water and wind. Typhoon winds. It's going to be a flood of fire, man. Because water and fire are depending on what's playing. 5 youth or what would be, you know. And hey, before the flood, that's total destruction. Hey, water's dangerous, man. And the funny thing about water is it's a dichotomy, man. Because too little water and you're gonna die. Too much water and you die. You need just the right amount.
I'm sorry, not successful in this role today.
Verse 6, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes.
Yeah, you have to wonder, okay, so why did Sodom and Gomorrah get turned into ashes? What specifically was happening within there? Which isn't a mystery to anyone. But sodomy is still a term used in the modern day, man. They'll backshotting each other and having sex with beasts and all that wild shit. Which is the same things which are being upheld today and defended. So lo and behold, what's going to happen? If you're backshotting grown-ass men, or you little boys, or whatever the hell, man, then it's there as an example.
It says, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly.
That example, man. So that's why it's like you can't even complain. Because when you use the term sodomy, then you already know what it is. You can't really say, oh, but I just didn't know. What if you do? That's too bad. Done. Yeah. Should have plugged your butthole and thought about what the hell you were doing with your life.
Verse 7, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked.
Yeah, so Lot was separated. Why? Because he wasn't engrossed in you know, that vile society. And that's something that's highlighted again later on. You know, the men that sigh and cry against the wickedness that be done. Those are the ones that are gonna. And the thing is, that's why it's like the new bodies we're gonna get are just a physical manifestation of what's going on in the spirit. Because the thing is what separates us isn't, you know, it's having a.
Say you made that boldest manifest.
Yeah.
Come out in that spirit, like you said, it's called become apparent.
Yeah, because the thing, because it's like, what is it spiritually and mentally? We're already, that's why we're renewing ourselves internally. Because the thing is you go back to like Adam, them guys were supreme in the body as well as in the spirit, but then they weren't all the way there. So that's why the Lord's basically going to have it where we get completely set up in that, you know, so we're invaluable. But it's a thing, well, let me say what I was going to say. It's a thing where, you know, now it's what we're talking about, what we're doing, what we're representing, that's not seen out there. And it's, you know, if we're, you know, if we're levitating and shooting lightning bolts now, before anything goes down, everyone will be jumping up like, yeah, fam, yeah, I'll hear that, yeah, man, yeah, fuck this place. So that's why the Lord's made it where it's a thing where it's like, okay, we're gonna see this. Yeah, yo, how are you gonna do that though? Oh, about that. No, all of that's it's gonna be a thing where it's you're gonna be required to have faith, and then that internally is already separating you, man. That's what I was gonna say. It's like what inward man getting renewed every day. That's basically setting you up. So, you know, the mind and the body can be in sync. Because that's why it's you know, if Jake get that superhuman body now, what the fuck's the point? It's just going to be a repeat of what happened, you know, when Adam was about, man. Wickedness.
It said Lot was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So that means it was out there in the open. You know, it was a known thing. People, they had the same way you got.
Well, that's why they were knocking on the door, saying, "Yo, give us them men, man.
Give us them men."
Man dashed the doors out there. Didn't even want the doors. Man saw the pussy. Was like, "Oh, vagina." Man had pussy hatred.
Yeah, so it vexed Lot with their filthy conversation of the wicked. And that's the same today as the pride. They probably had celebrations and festivities for homosexuality and transgender, or whatever you want to call it. Right? Men that probably dressed up like women and so forth. all kind of abominable activities, they were proud about it and they made it known. And it vexed a lot. The same way we'll be teaching, next thing you know there's a pride march behind them. Or right in front of us, man. Alright? So we're vexed too, man. But then we know, pertaining to the end sample the brother just read, that the outcome is that this place is going to be burned with fervent heat.
Verse 8, for that righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds.
All you have to do is open your eyes and look at the type of things you're seeing right now. You're not looking past. Just look at them.
It says, verse 9, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished.
So basically, it's simple as reap what you sow. Whatever you invest in. That's why it's a thing where it's a matter of. Because the thing is a good example of fucking foresight is the stock market. Right? You watch that film, The Big Short. The thing is, if you look at the the fucking housing crash in 2008, 2009, that thing was, if you actually use your brain and actually looked at what was happening, these guys, the thing is there was millions upon millions of people who was trading all these things. They should have known, if you're going to be trading that, your life stuck in that, you should know what the fuck's going on. Now if you're going to be making here's a few examples. You're going to be making $700 a month. You shouldn't be getting out a fucking mortgage where you're gonna have to be paying like $2,000 or something dollars. Sure, you're getting out a mortgage where you're gonna pay $350 a month, man. But realistically, it's not gonna be sustainable. If you're investing in subprime mortgages, then you should know that shit's gonna go belly up real easy. Because how the fuck, if you're making $700 a month and you've got to pay thousands of dollars in loans, it ain't gonna work out. But people are short-sighted. They don't have foresight, they don't have imagination to see these things that come to pass. Because, hey, what did the movie show? There were guys that could see these things and that knew these things were going to come to pass. So, hey, it's a thing with the society, man. People have been basically they're mentally focusing on, hey, what's right in front of them. The straightforward, easy to attain pleasures, man. They're not thinking in the long term. Because someone who is thinking in the long term is the elites. Why isn't you hearing about, when was the Illuminati set up, man? 1776. A fucking real long time ago. How the fuck are these guys set up in 1776? No one was talking about them until the fucking 80s. By then, bruv, you're done. Them man already done been entrenched and everything. Like, what the fuck? Same with the, the Masons were about when Jakes was starting that shit, man. So that shit's been around for the longest. So it's basically a thing where what you call it? Hey, the elites, they're looking in the long term, but they've basically made it so everyone on the bottom ain't seeing the future. And Jakes fed into that spirit. Hey, but lo and behold, there's, the men of holding down this truth. You're seeing into the future, and then you're picking a winner. Because the thing is even the disciples, when they left, they left their jobs, left certain lifestyles behind. They were like, okay, what are we gonna get in return? They're all thinking, okay, they're like, hey, this is the guy. The faith told them, hey, this is the guy. But then even they were thinking, okay, but what are we gonna get for this? This is some fucked up shit we're going through. What are we gonna get for this?
And it says, but chiefly them that walked after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despised government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignity.
Yeah. So basically, the guys that can't get down with it, they're basically in a averse spirit. They're in that self-worship, self-aggrandizement, which long that's all that this society promotes. So So that's everyone's in the spirit that's complete opposite of what you're meant to be when you're dealing with the scriptures. And he's still done that intentionally. He's made it so everyone's all they're thinking about is making their own life better. That's why Nipsey Hussle was such an enigma, because they're like, wow, a guy who's actually going to help out. He got big and he still helped out his community. Like, niggas don't do that. Niggas get rich and fuck off. That's why that's why everyone's just like, yo, Nip, man. But then, hey, that's why it's like. But the thing is you go back to ancient Israel, that was a spirit. Hey, if silver's a stone, you could in this society it's impossible for silver to be stone. Because everyone, as soon as there's anything worth any kind of money, someone's going to be basically milk as much cash out of it as they possibly can. But back in ancient Israel, then they would have been like, okay, you know what? We're going to make it so everyone's good. Because you had certain things in the ways and the laws where it would have basically been like a certain amount of crops, certain amount of goods. You would have just left it for those that are poor. So that's why it's the balance where it's like if you're a bit fucked, and there would have been methods you could take, like you could do servitude underneath someone for a few years, 7 years, and then build yourself up. Then after you do that, you get your starting, your initial capital which to build yourself. So that's why you got to think. That's why look, man, the scriptures. It's everything's contained in there, man. All this that you got going on now, all this mess, confusion, no one knows what the hell's going on with what. Hey, that's how the Lord's going. Only a few are gonna arrive at the answers, man. They'll leave it there, man. Shalom.